Hey, Amber, how are you?
I am great. How are you?
I am good. Did you have a wonderful New Year's?
I sure did. Did you?
Yes. Well, I was sick, but
Oh,
I felt better the next day, and I feel even better today, which is a plus.
that's
Um,
great.
but I hope that you and Ryan had a very, very good New Year's, a good Christmas.
Oh, thank you. You too. This was the first year in a very long time we actually made it to midnight.
Oh, really? I'm
Yeah,
so
we're those
proud of
kind of
you.
people that go to bed and then set the alarm for 11:58 and then get up and then go back to bed.
Oh, I love
We've
it.
been old people for a long time,
Yeah.
mid-20s.
Well, I usually am up, but this year I was in bed.
Oh,
But yeah, generally for the most part we are up at midnight. So it has been a long time since I have not welcomed in the new year when it's come. But we have some great people in the chat. Can we go through those real
yes,
quick?
we do. We have Benny Torres. Happy New Year. Schmerber. Oh, Eric and Curtis sold me my first head sculpts.
Oh, that's cool.
Jordan, Rob Zamora,
Hey,
Kevin McCoy,
hey, honey.
and a Happy New Year to you too, Kevin. Chris Johnson, Curtis Ackerman, Darla Ackerman.
Both Ackermans in the house.
We love them.
Yes, we do.
Heinrich, Happy New Year. Paul Morales, Mark R., and Van Johnson.
Hey, hey, we are so excited that you guys joined us today. One thing really quick, just want to say thank you to those of you who gave us the super chats last week. We truly appreciate those. And I know Liz said that was her first one. That was so awesome.
So awesome.
But we truly appreciate those super chats. Thank you very, very much for those. You guys are awesome.
Poor Stacy, feel better.
Oh no, feel
Love
better,
you.
Stacy. Oh no.
Poor thing.
Yeah. Um, and that's what I originally thought mine was. So
Oh.
I hate that for her.
Super chat.
Yay!
Curtis Ackerman. For Kevin. Hi, honey.
Oh my goodness, that's funny. All right. Well, we have kept our guest waiting long enough. Let's bring our guest on, and then we will go into the news, and then we will get to know him a little better. Please let us welcome Eric Miller. Hello, Eric. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Doing wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us on Legions Ladies. We are excited to have you here. Learn so much more about you and get to know you a little bit more.
Thanks for having me. I think this is like the third reschedule, right? You gave me a few dates and just they didn't never seem to work. So I'm glad I made it.
Well, we are glad you did too. I know we've wanted to have you on the show. We are so excited. I, your customs are just so amazing, and I can't wait to see them and talk to you about them. And it's I just
Thank you.
can't. I'm so excited. Um, Yay! Now to get you in you know in with me when I'm trying to paint and say, okay, do this way, so I know how to do it right.
I don't know about that. I definitely I do things my way. I don't know if people would consider that to be right or wrong. I don't know.
Well, I've seen your customs, and I'm thinking
Whatever it
that
is,
it's
it's right.
pretty
Yeah,
correct.
thanks.
Looks pretty good to me.
Sure.
So, all right, let's talk about the news real quick. We definitely want to talk about the news. Of course, the Dragon update moved from January to March, which I know that there are a lot of people that were like, "Whew," a little bit more time to save a little bit more money to do that. And then have to have minimum quantities, but it looks like they're going to have stretch goals. Amber, Eric, anything that you guys can think of what those stretch goals may be?
I don't know. We know it's not a writer because they're just very adamantly against that.
Right.
But who knows?
Yeah, it'd be
I have no idea.
going to be interesting to see what that is. And then pricing info coming soon. So hopefully, well, by March, we'll know how much it's going to cost anyway. So
Yeah.
that is going to be great. And two, we have a couple of months to get ready for it. So that'll be good. And then, was it this past Sunday? Yes, this past Sunday, the pre-order for the Reign of the Beast ended from Four Horsemen. But you can now order these via your retailers. And if you don't have a retailer, then go to Source Horseman and go to their retailer page, and it would tell you who all the retailers are. It is a great support to those, and support to the community as well. So I like having a retailer close. I can just go pick stuff up when I need it.
That is very convenient.
Yeah. It's been a long time. I mean, like, we had to drive over 2 hours for a long time before I could find figures. So to have one local is amazing. So thank you, Dragon Sword.
My local retailer's just far enough away for it to be inconvenient, but I still make the trip.
Mine is no longer inconvenient. It is really close.
That's awesome.
So yes, I am very blessed, very blessed with that. And then, of course, we got the notification of an in-stock sale coming, which we knew was coming, but we didn't know when.
Yeah.
The Armory Knights. Eric, did you get any of those at Legion's Con?
I did. So I got my 4 at intern, and then my wife made one as well. It's definitely for her. So. So I maybe ended up with 5. Maybe.
Gotcha. I think Kevin made 4, and I think I made 4 at intern. And then I think Kevin went back and made some more after intern.
We just have so many. But I particularly made 2 just for me. Like, I made a Christmas one that's like red and green.
Oh, cool.
I did a purple one.
My kids each did one too, and they leaned pretty heavily into the red and green, so it's pretty similar.
I put mine under my Christmas tree, and he's like a part of the fun.
That's awesome. Of course, the Legion's Con exclusives are going to be single pack regular figures, and as well as is it the Ninian?
Yep.
He's going to be available too. And then they announced that they're going to have other things that they have extras of that are going to be up for sale too.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's quite a bit of stuff that they're going to have up there. Eric, are you looking for anything at all during the sale?
I don't need any of it. But yeah, I think I'm gonna try to get some Armory Knights. Some of the ones that are kind of opposite of the parts that I got at the show.
Right.
And then I need an extra Gaspar figure so that I can pop the Brother Xavier head on there, and I'll have my friend Mike sign it for me.
Oh, I
Oh, that's
love
gonna be
that.
awesome.
Yeah.
That is great. Yeah, I think Kevin wants a couple of the knights, Armory Knights as well. I'm not sure what else.
The Ninian's like my new favorite figure, so I kind of want to get more of those, but I also have plenty of them, so I don't know. The longer they stay on the site, the more likely it is that I'm going to get more of those.
I know that feeling. I do. I do. Oh, that's funny. All right. And then just a picture of the 10 nights that they're going to have. We ended up not getting any of the nights with like the spiky um, armor. So I don't know if Kevin's going to pick up some of those or not. Most of ours were done in the Valiant Knight look for them. So I don't know what the plan is for him, but some great pieces here. Okay, so that is all of the news. Let's see, we've got Stacy's not feeling well.
Curtis is trying to hold off on buying toys, and he thinks he can make it past January, but I'm gonna bet he doesn't. I'm gonna
Kevin's
bet
like, Laura said, "What kind of dragon would let someone ride around on it?"
it's true.
Not this one.
Kevin said for Curtis to let's start a poll on how long it lasts. Oh, that's funny.
And poor Kevin, got a red torso when he thought he was getting a brown one.
So we're definitely getting the brown. For sure. All right. And let's talk about Eric.
Yay.
So Eric, we're gonna go way back.
Okay.
Way back. We're gonna make you stretch to remember back when.
I'm a little scared.
There's no reason to be scared. It's just us. Where did you grow up? Where did you grow up?
So I grew up about an hour from where I live now in a little town called Cedarville, Ohio.
Oh wow.
It's just a little college town. There's just a couple streetlights. My school was like a kindergarten through 12th grade, and I was in the class with the same people from kindergarten through 12th grade. We had like, I think there was 42 kids in my class.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's a cool place. When I was a kid, I wanted nothing more than to get out of there, but now I could kind of go back if I could. It's a cool little town.
I know that feeling. I really do. That's awesome. So, do you have siblings? Parents?
I have
still
one
living?
sister. Yeah.
Okay.
My parents are still there. They still live in the house that I grew up in.
That's really cool.
I have one older sister. She lives in Alabama.
What a great state. We enjoyed visiting Alabama when we were there. It's one of my most favorite things that we've done in a long time. So, what part, like upper, middle, lower?
She's in, I don't know where it is, like in relativity to like the state itself, but she's in Huntsville.
Oh, so she's real close to Muscle Shoals, one of my favorite places.
I'll trust you.
So Muscle Shoals is famous for their music.
Oh,
A lot of your uh, old rock and rollers and stuff played went to Muscle Shoals to record their music, and
oh, that's cool.
yeah, there's two recording studios there that are famous for um, recording those, and we got to go and enjoy it, and I'm telling you, it is so awesome going back and watching, and like one of them is still working. I mean, they're still working and doing music and stuff. So
That's
it's
really
really a
cool.
neat thing to go see.
I'm
Yeah.
kind of surprised that she's never said anything about it, but
Yeah,
you,
it's we stayed in Huntsville when we went to visit, so that's why I knew that it was in close proximity.
you know what's really cool that's really close to her. We went and did it when when I went to visit her a long time ago. I've only been down there a couple times, but um, there's this place that's like a half an hour from her. It's like an unclaimed baggage place where you can like buy stuff that's been like unclaimed baggage at airports across the country.
Oh
But in
wow.
the entryway, there's like a museum of like famous or like valuable stuff that's been found like in the luggage when they get it. And the coolest thing is they have the original Hoggle puppet from Labyrinth.
Oh my
And he's just hanging out like in the foyer of this
god.
weird unclaimed baggage store.
Oh my goodness.
That's so
Yeah.
That
cool.
is crazy.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's my favorite movie ever. So like I freaked out when I found out about that. I
yeah.
was like, we gotta go.
Go.
I love that. I think that is awesome. Um, Going back, and Alabama's such a great thing, and please tell your sister to go to Muscle Shoals, check it out, and take you when you go down because it is, if you're into music at all, it is like amazing. It really is a cool place to go visit. Um, what is your like? If you could think back, what is like one of the your favorite things about your hometown?
About my hometown,
Yeah.
I just really like how close everyone was. It's been I'm really bad at it, but I mean it's been very easy to see like where everyone ended up, and like everyone knew everyone. I was I was not like the most popular kid in school or whatever, but I knew everybody, and I got along with everyone, and it's cool that our relationships were able to be close enough to where it's cool to keep up, and it's I like rooting for the people that I know, so whenever I see anything cool happen to any of them, I'm always like, yes, that's awesome. But yeah, it was just a really small place, so I mean like I said, at the time I thought that was a pretty negative thing, but looking back on it, I think it's pretty cool. Like my wife talks about like, okay, I went to school with some person that I didn't know I went to school with them. I never saw them, and they were in my grade. Like that's so weird to me. Um, but yeah, I mean that's the coolest thing about it.
That is really neat. Um, what is, and you've mentioned a couple of times it being small and you wanting to get out, but other than that, when you were a kid, what was another thing that you would think was like something that you really didn't like about your hometown?
Something I didn't like about it.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't know. It was like in small towns, it's like they can be like really like gossipy and stuff like that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't really like that.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's like a college town, so like I feel like everyone's family was there for the college, or had like parents that were professors or worked at the college in some way, and my family didn't, or like they all went to the same church, and like I didn't go to their church or something, so like I felt pretty left out of that stuff. That's not, I mean, I didn't, it's not as dark as it sounds, but like I don't know. I feel like it was easy to miss things too. It's like I feel like everyone was doing something that I didn't get to do, or something like that. But I don't know. There's not a lot to complain about.
No, but being a kid and not being able to hang out with the people that you really want to at certain events and things, I get that
For sure.
absolutely. As a kid, I think that's pretty substantial, really.
Yeah.
What did you collect action figures as a kid?
Oh yeah.
What
Yeah,
did you
that,
collect?
that was like the one thing I cared about when I was a kid. So, the earliest stuff I remember collecting was like Kenner Batman, Real Ghostbusters, that sort of stuff. And then when I was like 3 or 4, Ninja Turtles came out and were huge, and that was like life altering for me when Ninja Turtles came out. I didn't care about anything else for like a solid 5 or 6 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, they were pretty awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
they were amazing.
still are.
Yeah.
Um,
I used to steal my brother's toys all the time. His Ninja Turtles, and then he'd be like, "Give me back my Leonardo," and I'm like, "He's mine."
I would have not been cool with that.
He hated it, but like if he went out with his friends, I'd like sneak into his room and be like, "Ha ha," and then I'd like run out when I hear him coming. Oh my god!
oh, do you still have the figures that you collected when you were a kid?
I have a lot of the turtles still, which I thought they were gone, but now I want to say a few years ago, but now it was probably like 12 or 13 years ago. My parents found a box in their attic of like a bunch of my old turtle stuff.
Oh, that's so
Um,
exciting!
That's
yeah, it was
so
pretty cool. There was some stuff in there that was pretty rare, that I didn't really know about, and I remember like Instagram was like new, and there was like a few people on Instagram that were toy people, and I posted about it, and like someone was like, "Hey, I'll give you like $35 for that figure," and that I was in that photo, and I was like $35. Like I thought these were all worth like 50 cents a piece, you know? So I
right.
sold it, and of course that's like a figure that's worth like hundreds of dollars.
Oh
But
Oh
it's fine. I don't need it. He probably values it way more than I do. But
no!
yeah, I remember others like I remember my Power Rangers collection. I collected those until I kind of like got out of toy collecting, like in that weird phase that every guy seems to have had. And I remember like some kid coming to my house that was like a son of one of my mom's friends, and she was like, "You don't play with these, just give them to him," and like put me on the spot. So I remember handing over my entire Power Rangers collection to this kid I didn't know, and I was like, "Okay, my
Oh,
mom says I have to give these to you, so
that's
please
so.
leave." Yeah,
I
so I
one
don't have
time
any of
like
those.
melted into Polly Pockets.
no.
Lost them all.
Oh no. Um, what ended up being like your favorite figure from when you were a kid?
I mean, I don't know about singular figure, but the Ninja Turtle stuff was my favorite, and I always loved the rocker turtles. Like, have you seen those before? Like the variant where they're like, it's like hair metal Raphael and punk
Yeah,
rock Donatello and like rapping Michelangelo. Like those are my favorites.
that's awesome. I
Yeah.
love it. um, do you still have those?
Yeah, I do. I do
Oh,
still have those, and I a few years ago I bought like carded versions of them too because they're my favorite.
oh,
So
that's awesome.
yeah.
Um, did you go to college?
I went to college. I did not finish college, but I went to college.
Okay.
I went to a small community college in Dayton, just for like liberal arts.
Right,
Um, I took all the classes that pertain to art, and then I had a really hard time with the ones that didn't, that I had to take anyway, and
right.
I kind of eventually gave up. But the art part of it was cool.
So, when did art come into your life, and like what did you just start drawing when you were a kid? I mean, where did all of that start?
Yeah, I've drawn since I can remember. I remember a long, long time ago. I was probably 4 years old, maybe 5. Um, I was at my babysitter's house and I drew a picture of Raphael, and it was like the picture of Raphael that you saw everywhere, and like I'd drawn it 50 times. It was like the one that was on the front of the pack of the trading cards, and it was like in every coloring book, and uh So I had drawn this picture of Raphael like 50 times. So I just drew it because I was bored, and I remember my babysitter like freaking out and being like, "He's 5. He shouldn't be able to draw this." Um, and so I traced it, and now I know how to draw it. But I remember them like freaking out, and like my mom coming to get me, and her being like, "Look what he did," and like since then, like art was kind of a thing that like everyone just kind of like fostered in me. Like everyone really supported it, and so yeah, I always drew, and like I said, I went to college for liberal arts. I was never a painter. That's a more recent thing, but I've always loved art, and I think one of the reasons I love action figures so much is because I respect the art form of it. Like I'm not as like driven by nostalgia as a lot of people are, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I've always like respected the fact that it was like art, and there were many artists that come together to make every single piece happen. Um, so yeah, I've always had a fascination with that.
Yeah, the first thing that I said after Legions Con 2022, our first Legions Con that Kevin and I ever went to, we were in the car on the way home, and Kevin was like, "So you seem to like it." I'm like, "Well, it was a little art show.
Yeah,
I mean, they're little pieces of art. I mean, in action figure form. I mean, it's just art. They're beautiful. What's not to love about them?" And that's the
yeah,
one thing that struck me after Legions Con, is
for
just how
sure.
much was in the art. That's awesome. Um, do you have any hobbies that you enjoy that have nothing to do with action figures?
Um, Not really. I mean, I like doing stuff with my kids, my family, just whatever we want to do. Obviously, we're big Disney fans, so we try to go to Disney as often as we can. That's not really a hobby, I guess. But I guess the hobby that comes from that is that like because we love the park so much, we all kind of like research it as a family. So like we'll watch YouTube videos and that sort of stuff about like the history of things, and we kind of do that as a family. Um, I was a musician for a really long time, so I still like to play music, but I don't do it very often.
Yeah. So, what instrument?
Guitar and bass is what I normally play.
Okay.
Anymore, I play more bass than anything. But
Awesome. So, what was your very first job?
my very first job was working at a greenhouse that was across the river in my backyard when I was 14, I think. Um, they supplied flowers and stuff for like local supermarkets and things like that. So I would go in there and basically just pick flowers all day and go home.
So, you actually picked the flowers.
Yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah.
Um, what did you? Is there one thing that you like really loved about it?
I got paid, um, and that's what I loved about it. That was a new thing to me. And there was, they looking back on, it, I'm not really sure like where they found these people, but they had a lot of like immigrants from other countries that would come work for them. Like I don't know if there was some program involved, but it was really cool. Like there was a guy that was from Estonia that I worked with, and he talked about Estonia all the time, and it was just fascinating. There was another guy that was from Mexico, and he was like hilarious. So I mean, I liked working with people from around the world too. That was pretty cool.
That is really
That's
cool.
pretty
That's
cool.
neat. Yeah. All the things that you could learn about other countries at 14
Yeah.
years old was probably
Hmm.
really, really cool. Well, would be today too. Um, Out of the jobs that you have had in your life, like, is there one that stands out that you just absolutely loved?
Yeah, my current day job's pretty cool. It's not necessarily what I'm passionate about, but it's I recognize that as day jobs go, it's a really cool one. I get to work with like high end stereo equipment, and like um, in the basement of our showroom, we have like one of the best theaters on the eastern seaboard that I can just like chill out and then before that, I worked at Guitar Center for 4 years, and I loved working at Guitar Center. It was amazing, but my schedule was horrible, and I was having kids and starting a family, and I was just I can't do this schedule no matter how much I love this job. So I left, but the job itself was great. I absolutely loved it.
That's cool. We have a guitar center here, I think, um, in town here.
Yeah.
Been to a couple of times, but that's a neat place. I mean, it's
Hmm.
really
Yeah.
cool. I like to go in and like when people are there, like testing out the equipment, and just to hear people play. I mean, it's awesome.
It was
It's
it was
cool.
interesting. I kind of learned to tune it out like you had to because there was just so much noise in there all the time.
Right.
But it was you got to meet a lot of interesting people. So I liked that aspect of it. And some people, I remember there was this one kid that I sold him. I don't think it was his first guitar, but it was like his first good guitar. But he was like 8 years old or something, and he was like playing AC/DC riffs, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool. You're like 8, and you can play these songs." And he through the I worked there for almost 5 years, and he would come back and be like, "Look what I learned," and he'd pull out his guitar and show me stuff. It's like, "Oh, that's
That's so
great."
cool.
It was cool to like have those relationships with people.
That is really, really cool. Now, you said you played in a band.
Yeah, I've been in a bunch of bands.
Have you? Like,
Mhm.
what kind of music? Any?
Most of them were like that line between like punk and pop punk. Like that's kind of my thing. The first, well, not the first, but the first, what I consider to be like a really decent band that I was in was kind of like a metal ish band. But then it kind of evolved into the like pop punk thing, and I kind of stuck with that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And is that something that like you've done recently as far as being a band, or is that something you've not done since like you've had kids?
Yeah, basically when my son was born, I was done.
Gotcha.
And the main band, well, I was kind of in two main bands, and one of them just kind of trickled out. And then the other one, which is the most proud project I was ever a part of as far as music goes. Our singer moved to Missouri and got married to a girl out there, so we were pretty much just done when he left. Um, but yeah, I I've been a part of some really good music. I think I'm pretty proud of it.
That's amazing. That is cool. The things you don't know about people until you sit down and start asking questions.
Yeah.
That is great. Um, if you could go back
Mhm.
and pick like the perfect career, exactly what you wanted to do, if you could create that perfect job, what would it be?
For a while, I would have said to be like yeah, a successful enough musician, not like world famous or anything, but enough to like make a living off of it.
Yeah,
Um, Now, I mean that dream job is like making toys professionally. Like that's the goal.
that's awesome.
That's
Um,
cool.
Kevin, my husband, who is very much into music,
Mhm.
loves music, like loves it. He is asking what the name of the bands, if you don't mind naming a few.
I was in a bunch. You can find a few still. The one of the first really good bands I was in was called Time Wasted Sleeping. And there's some stuff on YouTube from Time Wasted Sleeping. I was in another band called OK Linden that you can definitely find on YouTube, and I think like they're on like Bandcamp and all that stuff. They were more like indie ish, but still really proud of that. And then my favorite band that I was a part of was called John Patton Organ Donors, and it's you can't find that stuff anywhere, but it's my favorite stuff I ever made.
Oh, okay. Um, Rob Zamora said that he worked for Guitar Center headquarters
Oh,
and
cool.
helped his buddy come up with the green screen OS Guitar Center uses.
you know that green screen is a nightmare, but I got to the point where I felt like Batman. Like it's like I could solve any problem on green screen. I just felt like a green screen wizard. um And like now at the place I work, like we have a system that's like quote unquote better, but like I would go back to the DOS green screen like any day of the week.
Oh, that's funny. Um, Curtis Ackerman, yes, he loves Wolverine. No, we didn't go to the movies to see the movie, but we do have it and we will watch it at home. And he does like music and he goes all the time to Ohio 3 days at a time to listen to music.
Interesting.
So there's a 3 day Christian heavy metal rock concert in Versailles, right outside of Dayton. And he's been to that for the last several years.
Interesting.
And he goes up there and listens to them play, and he's going again this year.
That's cool. I don't know about that one. It's back when I played, we used to go to this festival in Illinois every year called Cornerstone Festival. That was like a big Christian music festival.
This one, Kevin, if you put it in the comments, I'll remember it. We're actually going to see Barren Cross in April up there at that same place where
cool.
he went for the 3 days. Barren Cross was playing April 12th, I think. So we're going up. We'll be in Ohio for April at the BMI Center there for sales in April.
Right on.
Okay. We have had the pleasure of seeing your wife and kids. They join you both at IshCon and they were at Legions Con. But there are some people here who may not have been able to meet or get to know them at all. Can you give us like your wife's name and your kid's name and kind of their ages and stuff so we can get to know them as well?
Yeah. So my kids, if you've come to either of those shows, you would have seen them. And my wife's name is Shannon. And we've been married since 2010. So sorry, my dog decided to come in the room and make a ton of noise. So 14 years. And my kids are Eli and Isley. They're 15 months apart. Eli's 11, Isley's 10.
Oh, they are so cute. They obviously know that you paint figures and this is what you do. Like in their eyes, like what do they think of the characters that you've created, the things that you've done, the things that they see you do? Like what is their thoughts about all of that?
They think it's really cool. I'm not sure how much longer they're going to think it's really cool. But yeah, they like it a lot. My daughter likes to brag about me. For a long time, she thought that it was like my actual job. I had to explain to her that it really wasn't. Though in recent years, like I have been able to do it professionally, which is great. It's not the main gig, you know? But yeah, they think it's cool. My son thinks that like the ability to do it is cool. And he, a lot of times he'll kind of just come in the room when I'm working on stuff and say, what are you working on? And I'll show him stuff. And he's like, I don't understand how you can do that. And I have to like explain to him that it takes like years and years of practice. Like he's one of those kids where like, if he's not immediately good at something, he kind of gets discouraged. But they did, they both participated in the 1,000 Swigs this year, and they made their own, and they both killed it. They did really good. I'm really proud of what they did.
That is fantastic.
Awesome.
Oh, how sweet. Well, I'm glad they got to participate and actually do some of what you do. That is hilarious. I love that. Yeah, 12, 13 is that age when they really
it's coming.
You feel it, right? Like it's on the horizon. You see it, it's coming. Do they have a favorite figure that you've created? If you painted, do you have one displayed that it's their favorite?
I don't know. I actually don't display anything. I don't
Oh,
have
do you
room to
not?
display anything. Um, but I'm trying to think if there were ever times that they've like really liked something that I did. Um, I remember my daughter was pretty furious when I made my Figment because she said Figment wasn't scary. Um,
Your Figment
I
is
don't
one of my
know.
favorites.
Yeah. Well, and I told her, what would Figment want? He would want you to use your imagination. So in my imagination, he was a big scary dragon. thought it was I thought it was cool. I don't know. I'll have to ask them. They're not here right now, but I'll have to ask them if they have a favorite. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that would be interesting to know if they have one that, because they've been to the shows, so they've seen them all displayed. So I was just
Hmm.
wondering if there was something that they just really liked. Um, I've seen some photos and heard talk. You actually live on a farm.
Hmm.
Can you tell us about your farm? How
Yeah.
many animals? Kind of what that's like?
Yeah. It keeps us busy for sure. Um, it's a small. It's like 5.5 acres. It's kind of like the family farm. Like the house that I live in now is the house that my wife grew up in. Actually, um, sorry.
That's it.
It's been the family farm for a long time, so we just kind of help keep it up now. Her grandpa has horses out here, so I don't do much with the horses, but we've got them. There's 3 horses back there. We have 2 goats. Um,
Oh,
Depending on what time of the year, like her uncle usually gets around 20 in the summer, and then sells them off. After that, and he usually gets pigs too, which I'm not a pig fan, but he'll usually get a few. But we do goats. We've got 2 pygmy goats, and then we have two
oh,
or probably somewhere in the 50 to 60 chickens. We've got 5 ducks, and we just recently this year got 2 emus, which have been a lot of fun.
That's so cool.
it's so cool.
I'm
Yeah.
so jealous.
Um, so I'm scared of emus and ostriches. When I was a little girl, there was an ostrich and there was a fence, and my fingers were like this, and the ostrich grabbed my pinky finger.
I
And
had
I'm just like,
I had a very similar experience when I was a kid. I remember at the fair there was an ostrich at our county fair for some reason, and I turned my back on that thing for like 10 seconds and it bit my ear. I remember my dad like losing it laughing at me. um, the emus don't seem to have the same temperament as the ostrich.
okay.
They're a lot of fun. They're really curious animals, and they're super goofy.
Oh, yeah.
My wife just texted me. They must be watching wherever they are. She says Isley says her favorite is Figment, so she's had a change of heart.
Okay.
She's had a change of heart.
I love that. Okay. And can you give us, like, I don't know, a day in the life of a farmer? Like, what do you do when you get up? You go feed the animals,
Yeah.
and then
So the animals we have are really easy, and we don't spend all that much time with them throughout the day. But we just wake up, we go out, we feed the chickens, we let them out of the coop, because every night they go in the coop, so you got to lock them up so that we've got a lot of predators around here, so we got to
right.
make sure they don't get them. So yeah, go out, feed the chickens, go back to the barn, feed the goats, open up the door for the goats so they can go outside. We and depending on the day, we like to let our emus go out into one of the larger lots because they like to run. But right now we don't have like a permanent large lot for them, so we got to bring them in every night too. So you basically do it all in the morning and then do the reverse at night, and we got to gather eggs at night from the chickens too. They all have their their little spots they like to lay in over the property. So
Yeah.
we check them all every night.
Have you ever like been somewhere that you didn't think there would be any eggs, and all of a sudden you're coming across like a load of
Yeah.
eggs there? Okay.
That happens a lot. Like we'll go through spells where like, man, I really feel like we should be getting a lot more eggs. And then like one day we'll find a nest we didn't know about that has like 25 eggs in it. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. So, do you guys like sell the eggs? Because that's a lot of chicken. Do you eat that many eggs, or do you sell the eggs? Or do
We
you
eat a
give
lot
them
of
away?
eggs. We give them away to our friends most of the
Okay.
time. We've got a lot of people that we're like in community with locally, and we'll usually just bring eggs whenever we go anywhere and just give them to people.
Makes complete sense. Complete. With that many chickens, you're gonna have a lot of eggs.
Yeah, we go through periods where like we're drowning in eggs. We just can't get rid of them fast enough.
Yeah. So, again, I think I have heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, but before you got into before Four Horsemen started making Legions, you were customizing other figures. Is that correct?
Yeah, I definitely like dabbled more in it back then. I didn't take it very seriously. Though like I don't know if customizing should be something to take seriously. I guess if you want to make toys professionally, you should probably take it pretty seriously. But for years I just dabbled. I was just making characters that like the toy lines I collected, there were characters I wanted them to make that they just weren't making for whatever reason, so I would get impatient and just do it myself. That's kind of what I did for a long time.
That's cool. Is there any one of those that like stands out that you were like really proud of? Hey, this is really cool.
I remember like certain milestones, like being proud that I pulled something off. Like I remember when I was making Marvel characters out of the DC Universe bucks, I did an angel like from X-Men, and I remember using magnets to attach the wings and thinking like, holy cow, I made wings that can attach magnetically, and like it doesn't really sound that important, but like back then I thought it was a cool accomplishment. And I remember I did a Captain America one time that I like cut the torsos of like an Aquaman and a Flash figure, because Aquaman had like the scale texture and then Flash was smooth, so I cut them in half and then I fused them and like sculpted it to where you couldn't tell, and I was really proud of that. um,
Oh,
Stuff like that. Yeah,
oh my
that's
gosh.
probably about it.
Like you were, I mean, like the engineering that had to go behind that. I mean, the thought process that had to go behind the engineering to that is
Yeah.
amazing. And magnetic wings, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it seems simple now, but at the time I thought it was some crazy huge deal. I don't know.
No, like I'm thinking now, magnetic wings, that's the way to attach those wings to that stinking
Yeah,
character that I want to do. See, there you go. You gave me the idea that I needed.
for sure.
Um, did you ever have one that you were in the middle of customizing and you were like, "Oh, this is just terrible," and just not finished?
Well, I mean, I get to that point with just about everything. Like even today, um, I don't recall any that I like just started and never finished though. I typically finish what I start.
Okay, all right.
There might be something mentally like I just have to finish. Like if I started, I've got to finish it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. So, what was the first mythic figure? Like, were you there at the Kickstarter, and did you get those? And like, what was your first figure that you got? What was the first figure that you customized? I mean, what? How did the journey with Four Horsemen start?
Well, my journey with Four Horsemen started way before Mythic Legions. Um, I started with their Gothotropolis line, the
Oh,
Scarabus figures.
yeah,
Those are the
yeah,
ones that I really like caught wind of, and I ordered a few and just fell in love with them, and I bought everything that came before, and I've pretty much gotten everything since then. Um, but with Mythic Legions, yeah, I was there at the Kickstarter. I did an all in on that original Kickstarter. I've told this story a few times before, but I had to sell my original All In because I needed money. So it took me a long time to get them all back. I actually
Oh,
just got like everything from that original Kickstarter earlier this year. Like I topped that off so that like my line is complete again. But yeah, at the time I had ordered a bunch of the extras of the Skeleton Legion builder,
Mhm.
and the first custom I ever did was like taking one of those and just making it look super rusty.
Oh wow. Oh, yep. Hang on. Hang on. Hang on. Is
Yeah,
that the
that's
one?
it. Yep.
Woohoo! I picked the right one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
That's
awesome.
cool that you have that. Yeah, that was I maybe had the figures for like 2 or 3 weeks before I made that one.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that was
amazing.
yeah, I've got some of your stuff and I don't know like we can look at some of it because I've got it here. I went through I think your Instagram and just pulled some of the photos from your Instagram. Um but this is like really cool. Um
Yeah.
like this has spikes where there shouldn't be spikes and then you have all of these chains and stuff hanging down. I mean, was this
Yeah.
a tribute to somebody? What is
Yeah, that's a tribute to Spawn.
I
Um
said that's boy.
I I did that one. Brian Burke did a contest that year, so that would have been October of 21, and he did like a Halloween photo contest. And I'm not a photographer, but I made that figure with one of his head sculpts and tried to take a cool photo with it, and I lost, but it's whatever.
Still super
figure
cool.
is great. And I think it's a cool, yeah.
Spot
Yeah,
on.
I like that one. I actually ended up selling that one, not at this past Legions Con, but the one before. So Blake, his little screen name on YouTube and I think Instagram is Recon Rage.
Uh-huh.
He
Yep.
owns that figure now.
Oh, okay. That's
That's
awesome.
cool.
Now, do you still have this one?
No,
Do
no,
you
I
know?
sold that like way back then. I
Oh,
don't think
wow. Okay.
I kept it, but maybe a few weeks. I ended up selling it to someone on Instagram that saw it and thought it looked cool. I really like. Sometimes I think about like if it's out there still, or if someone like pulled it apart and used the pieces for something else, or I don't know.
Oh, interesting. Hey, if you know who has this one, let's let him know. Come on, people.
Send the
Um,
man some pics and updates.
I know. We need to know. So these are your, to me, in my head, these are probably the ones that I knew you by first. So you had the pen set of these. These are the ones that when my husband saw, he went, my sister really would want these because his sister was really into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Um, so Kevin mentioned these like first thing. Did you see those turtles? So these are like the first ones in my head that I put together. Oh, that's Eric Miller. Do you like that's the association that I had with you? Um, and of course, they're amazing. So, can you tell us like how this came about? What what your thought process was going into these?
Yeah, I don't. Just one day it hit me that it would be cool to make orcs with turtle colored armor. That would be like cool Ninja Turtle tributes. Back then, I don't remember tribute customs like being what they are now. You know, you definitely saw them every once in a while. I know, like Jeremy would do some. Nikki Nicole had done a few, I think. Um, but yeah, when that Coliseum wave came out, I wanted to get 4 orcs and just turn them into turtles. So that's what I did.
Oh, they're amazing.
They really are.
Thanks.
And what? How did the pen? Like you did the pens of the heads. How did
Mm-hmm.
that come about?
That came about. I had done some other pins first. I did just a pin of my logo, and then I did my Hatbox Ghost pin. And when PowerCon happened a few years ago, I went and I took a couple of those pens just to hand out to people. And I had never really talked to George from the studio before, but I knew he was a pen guy. So I was like, hey, if you don't want these, that's fine. But like, I know you're a pen guy. So I thought, I'd grab a couple of these to give to you. And he was like super excited about it. And asked me a whole bunch of questions about like where I got them made and that kind of thing. And he was like, what you should do is make pins of the turtle orcs. Which I was like, I thought it was cool that he associated with me with the turtle orcs for one thing, because I didn't really know him very well. And then I also thought it was cool that he was like making requests. But I was like, well, I don't know. Those sculpts are like horseman sculpts, and I don't know if they'd be cool with me, like, using that like imagery or whatever. And he was like, oh, well, guy. And it just kind of sat with me. But, I went home that night, and like the next day I went to PowerCon, and George saw me and he was like, hey, come here. So I went and talked to him, and he was like, we really should do those pens. And I was like, all right, cool. I'll mock something up. I'll send you some designs. So it was a while before we actually made it happen, but that was just kind of how it came together. And George project managed those for me, so it went through his factory.
That's so cool. Yeah, I mean, I love the set, and those pens were beautiful. Again, my first introduction to Legions, one of the things that I associated with Eric Miller, of course, with these. But this here is a shredder, right? Okay. And then when did you do this one?
That one came a while later, probably at least a couple years later than the others, I think.
Okay. Yeah, that is so cool. And then this is a newer shredder?
Yeah, I didn't intentionally make that one shredder, but it just kind of came out very similar.
Yeah.
That's one that I made to sell specifically when I went to Toylanta in 2022.
Gotcha.
That's cool.
Really cool. And then this one was April?
That was my April, yeah. And a foot soldier.
And a foot soldier. That is really cool. That whole set, that whole series was just...
Yeah. It was cool. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've made one, but I don't know when I'll ever return to it. But
of course, Star Wars. My husband's a big Star Wars fan, so yeah. When I saw Vader and the trooper there, I was like, yeah, this is really cool.
Yeah. I actually ended up selling those too. I don't remember who bought those, but I sold them.
Now you would not sell the Turtles one. I mean, you're not gonna sell those. What are some of the others that you're like, no, I'm not gonna sell?
Pretty much everything that I have still. Yeah, I mean, I think I've sold off any of them that I would have been comfortable selling off at this point. I don't think I could let go of any of them.
Gotcha. And this one is...
Yep.
So you had some Motu tributes that you did as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one there, the Zoar, I actually made that before Mythic Legions was a thing. That was just back when the Gothotropolis Ravens were out. And then the Hordak tribute that you just showed too, that I did because Walter wanted me to make a custom for a Cabal giveaway back in, I want to say it was 2018 or 2019. So I made that Hordak tribute. So that was a year or two before Dragul was a figure. So
wow.
That's too bad that I did.
Incredible. Like incredible.
Thank you. That's a pretty old one too. That was probably 2019, 2020 maybe.
Now this is more recent, right?
It's talented.
No,
Oh, really?
That was probably 2020, maybe 2021. I did that for Dan Briggs, so he still has that figure.
That's so cool.
That is. Just the fact that you know who has them is also...
I try to remember, yeah. Well, I have, good friendships with a lot of these people, so I do remember that. That was a Labyrinth tribute that I did. It took inspiration from the Fireys from Labyrinth.
Absolutely gorgeous.
That was my Rat King. Yeah. Merman and Clawful from Masters of the Universe. That Clawful still is one of my favorite paint jobs.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, yeah, that's amazing. Now let's get into. It was too big for me to put in, so I had to, and of course this is one of my favorites that you've done. I think creating Figment from this character was genius. Like how you
That's
saw that is unreal to me.
someone suggested it, and I don't remember who it was either, but I was on Jeremy's show right after Legion's Con 21, and they had shown the Poxus Wave at that G Con, and someone just commented, like, when Arakagor comes out, you need to make a Figment. And Jeremy pointed it out, and I was like, that's true. Like, I will absolutely do that. And I actually got impatient. They ended up releasing Scourge beforehand, and they did that at PowerCon,
Right?
and I they let me buy 2 Scourges, which maybe I shouldn't tell people that. I don't know. But I bought one, and then, because it was a limit of 1 per person. And,
Right.
And I was talking to Eric Treadaway, and I was like, yeah, I got to find a way to get another Scourge because I want to make a custom out of it. And he was like, oh, well, what are you going to make? And I was like, I really want to make a Figment tribute. And his like eyes lit up, and he was like, you have to do that. So once I saw how excited he got about it, I knew that I had to, like, I didn't have any option but to, like, put everything I had into that figure. So
Well, and then when Eric Treadaway says you have to do that, he's going to make sure you get another skirt.
yeah, I guess so. But it was really cool how that all came together, because I debated waiting for Arakagor because I wanted some of the different armor and stuff. But I was like, no, I can't wait any further. I've been thinking about this since 2021, so, like, I got to do it now.
Yeah, that's just amazing. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
One of my favorites. This one was gorgeous.
That's one of my favorites too. That's probably still the most intense job I've ever done. With that horse,
Oh yeah.
I made all that tack and stuff out of leather, and then all those bells, like individually attaching them. Like, that was just a labor intensive project, but it came out exactly how I wanted it to.
So did you sculpt the bells?
No, they're just bells.
Okay, so they're just purchased bells.
Yeah, I got them at Hobby Lobby.
Right.
It's like $2 for like a bag of 100 or something
Yeah.
like that.
The little bitty bells.
But the little, like, the straps they're on are Mythic Legion's belts that I cut down and painted. And
Oh wow.
it's all it's glued together, which probably isn't the best way to do it, but that's all I knew how to do.
That's amazing.
But the tack it's real leather, or at least real fake leather, if that makes sense. I took where I work, like I said, we do like home theater and stereo and stuff. We sell furniture for home theaters, and we have like those like weird books of like all the
Leather.
like upholstery
Yeah.
and leather samples, and every once in a while they discontinue some or whatever, so I took some of those home, and that's what I ended up making that out of.
I've not thought about this. My best friend's husband scans fabric for websites who put fabric on furniture. And so he scans it in so that when you click on the piece, it changes it to be whatever fabric they're offering. And he gets in like 1 yard, squares, rectangles of leather all the time
Yeah.
to scan in. And I never even thought about he throws it away or gives it
Yeah,
away,
I should
or
take
and
some. It's good stuff.
I'm like, man, I should go get some of that.
Yeah.
When I see him next, I'm like, Scott, what kind of leather you got? Because that's genius. That's awesome. And then of course this is
Yeah, that's my Hatbox Ghost. I'm a huge Haunted Mansion fan. That's one of my favorite things that exists. So that I love that series. I still try to add to it when I can. I've done a few at this point. I like when I do Haunted Mansion customs to actually work some sort of gimmick into it.
right.
So that one has it's painted with blacklight reactant paint on top of the actual paint job. So if you shine a black light on it, it shines like the ghosts do in the attraction.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
and then the base that I made for it there, the little diorama piece, is actually just like a chunk of the queue for the attraction. So if you go to Disney World, like right before you go into the ride, that's you're standing like in that spot essentially.
Oh, that is so neat.
So I matched the
It's
brickwork like on that wall, and then on the ground there's different brickwork, and then like those little fence pieces are the actual fence pieces from the ride, and then there's that Leota tombstone that I had a sculptor sculpt that tombstone for me.
the
That's
attention to
awesome.
detail, Eric, is unfreaking real.
Thank you.
Again,
Yeah. There's more Haunted Mansion, so that's I did the tribute to the stretching room portrait of the tightrope walker. And of course, when you're in the ride, the room stretches, and then the painting stretches, and you can see that there's an alligator below her that's like trying to eat her. Uh, so I did the alligator too, and then I did the section of the stretching room that actually stretches, and like again, like the woodwork is pretty much down to the detail. The molding's a little different, but you know the wallpaper's accurate, the vents are accurate, the gargoyles are accurate. So it's a lot of fun for me, like recreating it. Like it transports me there. You know, I can't go to Disney World every day, but like when I'm making a project like that, it makes me feel like I'm there, like in a weird way.
yeah.
So
So, do you do that by, I mean, I guess you can take lots of pictures while you're there, so you have the actual representation of what you're trying to accomplish.
yeah, or you know, Google's got lots of photos of
Right.
you know Disney World and stuff like that. But I do try to take note. A lot of times when I am there, I'll be sure to like look down, and you know wherever I am, like this is what the ground looks like here. You know, this is what the bricks look like here, and stuff like that. And I get inspiration every time we go.
That's amazing.
I love that.
That's one from this past Legion's Con. That's the Candleman. So that's a concept that was made for the Haunted Mansion, but never ended up there. But it's a cool character, so I wanted to make a version of it. And then the diorama is sorry,
That's a,
what they call the corridor of doors in the ride, where you're riding through, and there's just a bunch of doors with you can hear like ghosts and stuff behind them. And there's weird portraits on the wall of like the ghosts that are in the mansion, and the you know the grandfather clock there that I made out of the one that came with Red Death.
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I love that.
I love that. And then I think maybe this is the last one.
Yeah, that was my big project for last year's Legion's Con, and that took me most of the year to do. That's a tribute to an old Epcot attraction called Maelstrom, which now is where the Frozen ride is. But there's a three-headed troll, and then what's called a Nookin. It's a water troll that would like pop out of the water there, and then the three-headed troll would like curse you and send you backwards over a waterfall. And there was a big magic effect on the ceiling that was done with fiber optic cables, so I did the fiber optic magic effect there too. And yeah, like pouring that resin and making that diorama, that it was I don't know what I'm doing, so I figure it out as I go. So there's a lot of trial and error there, and a lot of oops that didn't really work, but we'll make it work, that kind of stuff. But yeah, where that three-headed troll was is like it's the exact same spot that Elsa is, and now on the Frozen ride.
Oh wow. Yeah, that is simply amazing. And like I said, the attention to detail.
So
Um,
much.
yeah, everything that you have put together to be, basically to take you back to something that is so near and dear to your heart, and your family's heart. And so to be able to recreate that in the detail that you do is unreal.
Thank you. Yeah, that one I never got to experience that ride, and it's gone now. But I just think it's fascinating, and I think it translates well to Mythic Legions. So that's
Yeah,
the one I picked to really focus on for last year.
that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. All right. Okay. So how many customs do you think you've done?
Like ever or Mythic Legions customs?
So I would say Mythic Legions customs, and let's go with like full customs.
Yeah. I'm not as prolific as some people are in the community. I probably have like 40-ish, maybe
Okay,
somewhere around there.
gotcha. Um, but you paint heads like there's no tomorrow.
That's what people want. So yeah, I mean the first year I went to Legions Con, I didn't sell. It didn't even occur to me that I should maybe sell stuff. I just wanted to show my stuff to people. But people were like, Why aren't you selling? Why aren't you selling?" So I made sure after that I started selling heads. So now basically, if I am ever presented with any amount of free time, I paint heads to have them ready for whatever next show I'm doing.
That is amazing. Um, Out of all the characters that you've created, all the customs that you have done, all of them, every custom that you have done, like what is your favorite? Do you have a favorite?
My favorite my favorite experience working on the custom was that Maelstrom figure. Probably my favorite custom is Figment or the carousel horse with the knight.
Gotcha. Yeah. And both of those are gorgeous.
I worked hard on them. Thank you.
And it shows. And it shows. Um, so your first Legions Con was the first Legions Con, is that correct?
No, it was 2021.
Oh,
So
okay.
I was in the Cabal that first year, but the thought of like traveling far away to go to a show was so foreign to me. I didn't even think about it. Like, oh, that's cool. They're gonna meet in New Jersey, but I'm never gonna go to New Jersey, you know. And then I remember seeing photos of it on the Cabal, and I think Walter even asked me like, "Why didn't you go?" You know, and I was like, "I don't. What? I guess I should go. I don't know. I don't know." But after I saw photos, I hated that I didn't go, and I was like, "I'm not gonna miss Legion's Con next year." And then of course it was the COVID year, so they did it like online, and then 21 I got to finally go.
And so that first year, you didn't have anything to sell. You just set up your stuff and
Yeah, I didn't know if anyone would recognize my stuff at all. I had no idea what to expect. I was really excited to go and meet the studio and just show them my things. But that year solidified a lot of stuff for me. I got to meet the guys in the studio and saw just how absolutely incredible they are, and got to interact with them and think to myself like these people are great. I love these guys, like and I consider most of them to be good friends of mine at this point. And that's the year too, like once I saw the reaction people had to my stuff, like I was like, I think I want to do this professionally, so that's when I kind of started my journey into like trying to make that happen. So
gotcha. Um, if you could go back and not sell like one of your customs? Is there one custom that you sold that you think to yourself, man, I wish I had never sold that
Not really. Like I said, I kind of wonder where that first one went. Not because it's like a great custom or anything, but just because I didn't know at the time like what this was all gonna develop into, you know. So it would
one?
just be cool to know where that first one went. But I don't really regret selling anything.
Gotcha. Okay. Um, have you thought about like doing a pin set of any of your other customs that you've done?
Yeah. This last year at Legion's Con, I did the three-headed troll as pins, and I did a pin of the Frankenberry custom that I did because people always asked me when I was going to make a pin of that. I love making pins. If I had my way, I would make a pin for every figure I've ever made.
Right.
But they're very expensive to make, and if they don't sell, then I can't make them. So um, they don't sell very well.
Oh,
But I do enjoy making them a lot, especially with George. It's a really rewarding experience to
it
be able
really,
to make those.
yeah. Um, have you in the past and do you now take commissions from people?
I have in the past. I haven't done commissions in like 3 years though.
Okay.
It stuff piled up very quickly, and most of the people I worked with were really cool, but some of them weren't.
Yeah.
And I realized after doing a few shows, like I don't have to like take orders from people. Like I can pretty much do what I want to do, and people will buy it usually. Um, and if they don't, then someone else will. So I'd rather just like make what I want to make and sell it afterwards than to like take orders. And anymore, like I don't have time to. Even if I wanted to, I wouldn't be able to.
Gotcha. Um, when you see a figure,
Jordan
That's
says
true.
that you regretted selling your Kickstarter all in circa June.
Yeah, those aren't customs though.
but those aren't Jordan.
Oh, God, Jordan. Hang me.
Um, so Trevor just said, "Wait, there was a Frankenberry pen."
Yeah, I sold like four of them.
Trevor's like, "Wait a minute, why didn't I know this?"
We can make sure Trevor gets one.
Evidently, Trevor needs to get one of those.
Yeah.
Um, when you like, is there something? I don't know how to say it. Like when you see a figure, when you see something that's coming out, like do you already plan a custom? Like, can you see a figure and kind of get an idea of what you would like to make from that figure, or do you wait until you have it in hand and then kind of think around? Okay, I want to make this, so what do I need to do to make that? Do you see what?
Yeah. Yeah, no, sometimes. Usually I usually get it in hand first and kind of start realizing things I can make with it. But every once in a while I'll see one and know that okay, that's the piece I've been missing for a long time. And kind of know what I'm going to do with it. The Ghost of Christmas Past was one of those for sure. When that one came out, I was like, holy cow, there's so many things I've wanted to make for a long time that now I feel like those doors have opened with like these new parts and stuff like that.
Yes, I got 3, and Monday I was looking to see if I'm going to get more.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I ended up getting 5, which is a lot
Oh, wow.
for me.
Yeah.
But I have immediate plans for a few of them.
Yeah. I'm in the middle of 2, so I can't start on her right away, but she is next. Trust me. um, uh, is there which custom that you have done has surprised you the most about how well it came out? Like you were like, I did not think this was going to work and look as good as it did.
That Knight and Horse for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh
There were times when I was working on that thing where I was like, this is garbage. It's going to come out looking terrible. what am I even doing? You know, and it ended up, like I said, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
it is gorgeous.
I also was a little concerned about how people would feel about a pink night,
Uh,
but
it-
people
it's
seem to like it.
Yes, it is beautiful. It's gorgeous. If you could go back to one of the ones that you, even if it's one that you've done and sold, if you could go back, is there one that you would want to go back and like redo it? You're thinking, if I could just get that one back and just make these changes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I want to, but like if I were to make Ninja Turtles now, they would be way different. I really like the Hatbox Ghost that I did, but I think there are better parts out for it now. So that's one that like I've said publicly a few times, like I would like to make a new Hatbox Ghost, but I have to find the time first. And if I'm gonna like make something new or redo something that I have already made, like I'm gonna make the new thing. So
So, you have started painting for a few of the toy companies that are putting out action figures now. You're doing their original paints. And you said that you put that in motion. Can you tell us a little bit about like how that came about? And
yeah, um, it really came about just by putting myself out there, going to shows, taking my work, making sure that the right eyes landed on the work,
Mhm.
and really it's kind of luckily for me because I'm not good at talking to people, but I've found a lot of people who are actually what I feel to be kind of kindred spirits, people I get along with, people who are just good people at the heart of it, that I've been lucky enough to work with. So that's really cool. Um, and it's just been a cool journey, and it started off slow, and it's had moments where nothing's going on, and then moments where a lot of stuff is happening, and then it's interesting where it takes you. And then the other thing that sucks about it too is like just the nature of the toy industry too is like you can work on stuff but you can't talk about it. So like there are things you get to do where you really want to talk about it to someone and you can't. um but there's stuff that's out now or coming out soon that I've done. Like I got to work on Savage Crucible, and that was awesome. I got to work with Matt Rodriguez on his Armies of Ashmore. I did an accessory set for that line, and it's going to be out really soon. And I got to see some factory samples of that at Legion's Con, and they came out so good. And I'm so excited for that. And I've done some work for Premium DNA too. I got to do a Mars Attacks line that I don't know where it's at in production, but I think it's supposed to be out soonish.
Huh.
And then there's the other stuff, which is the stuff I can't really say anything about. But luckily it's done really well, and I only hope that it picks up even more. I'd love to do it full time.
Yeah, that is awesome. Of course, we had to get several of the ones that you painted with Savage Crucible, and I think Kevin's, I don't know what all he's gotten, but I know several things that you've painted we have here. So that's kind of cool to know the artist behind it.
Yeah, it's cool to know that it's out there too. It's like I can make a custom piece and sell it, and that's one piece that one person has.
Right.
Or I can do like a paint master, and then like a factory reproduces it, and then like there's thousands of them out there,
Right.
which is just it's a crazy concept to me.
Well, and it's the same, the Four Horsemen. We know that Cameron Joe or um, uh,
Sherry.
Sherry. I know that it was there, and it's
Right, girl.
I know it's my mother-in-law's name. It's not like it's lost. It just was not coming. But anyway, or Sherry painted. We know the people that painted that, and that makes it even cooler that you get to meet the people behind it. So, the joy of having your puppy is having fun over there.
I try to stay on top of it. She's being very active right now.
Oh, she's
And
awesome.
my family's gonna be home any minute too, so they're gonna lose it when that happens. So I'm gonna have to mute myself for a minute.
That's
But
okay.
yeah,
Oh, that's funny. But
sorry.
um but it's really cool to have a figure and know you have a friend who actually painted that, and
Yeah,
you know
absolutely.
it's it's out there in the hands, and it's a beautiful thing. So, and I am excited to see what you have coming up. I mean, like that's exciting.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
And now welcome to Eric and Jeremy's world. Right? You've done all the work and you can't talk about it.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it's a strange place to be.
Oh my goodness. All right. Now, do you have do you have a favorite like brand of paint that you use?
Uh,
Oh, that's funny.
sorry.
That's okay.
Um, that's awesome. Sorry. I go in phases. So like I originally used Citadel paints a lot. Now my favorite paints to use are I love the Vallejo game color stuff. Since they reformulated it like
Right.
a year ago or so, I love it. That's my favorite stuff to use.
Okay. And do you have like a favorite paintbrush set that you use?
Yeah. It's you can get it at Michael's. It's by a company called Artist Loft, which I think is like it might be Michael's brand.
Yeah. It is.
And then it's called the Vienna series.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Those are my favorites. They're black and they have like a neon green, like orange little band on the
Yep. I know exactly which
Yeah.
one you're talking about.
Yep,
Yep.
those I use those all the it took me years to find like the paintbrush that I really love working with, and that's the one.
Okay. And is there a specific tool that you use in customizing that you just don't think you could create something without it?
No, I don't think so. I mean, there's a lot of them that certainly make it easier, but I think I'd find a way. But I'm glad that I do have good tools that work well to get the job done. But yeah, I can't think of one that like where I couldn't accomplish something without it.
Gotcha. All right. Let's change over and let's talk about Mythic Enablers. Now, can you tell us like what you guys like were friends and like good friends before you guys did the podcast, right?
Yeah. So when I went to Legion's Con in 2021 for the first time, I already knew Noah just from talking online, and I already knew Mike from talking online, and those were like my two guys, you know. So I was super jazzed to get to meet them in person and get to hang out with them. And then Joe and the squeakiest door. Sorry.
That's okay.
Joe and Noah just kind of fell into it, you know, at the show. Like we met, you know, at our hotel, and like ended up, that was like the crew that like I would drive and we'd go to the show, and cause it wasn't at the hotel back then. So we had to get there and back to the studio, and my gosh. And yeah, ever since then we've been great friends. So we talk every day. And then I think it was Wyatt at one point was like, you guys ever think about doing a podcast? And everyone was into the idea. I was just kind of like, yeah, if that's what you guys want to do, let's do it, you know. And it's been so much fun.
That's awesome. What has been like the most fun about doing the Mythic Enablers podcast?
Just hanging out with my friends. Yeah, that's the best. It's weird too. Like people will bring up things that obviously said at some point and forgot about. Like, people will say things about me. I'm like, how do you know that? And then I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I did say that like in one of the episodes. So it's kind of interesting. But yeah, I mean, getting to hang out with my friends is the best part. We're all over the country. Wyatt's in California, Noah's in Minnesota, Joe's in Florida, Mike's in New Jersey, I'm in Ohio. So like, it's cool to get to hang out every once in a while.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, how often do you guys do your podcast?
Every 2 weeks.
Okay. All right. So the same as us. And do you guys do it live, or do you record it and then post it, or how is that?
We record it and edit it and then post it. So usually Wyatt does our editing, or sometimes if we're in a time crunch, we'll have John from Your Allegiance do it for us.
Gotcha.
He's been awesome to work with. And he's always willing to help us out when we need him.
Oh, that's sweet. All right. Do you collect all the different Legions lines?
Yes.
Okay. And
Yeah.
do you have one of every figure?
Yep.
And you don't display them, but you have them.
Yeah, we're in a little old farmhouse. We just don't have room to display them.
Gotcha.
And that's fine.
That's
It's
fine.
we have this one wall behind me, and it was like either we have a stereo or I have room to display things. So we did the stereo.
Well, music is important. You gotta
Yeah,
have your
for sure.
thing.
So I've got these guys are standing on top of my turntable here, and then all
Yeah.
my records are below me.
Gotcha. So, out of all the figures and factions and cosmic and mythic and figure obscura, like, what is your favorite like faction, or what is your favorite line?
Cosmic is my favorite.
Really?
And figure obscura more so. It's coming to be my favorite, but had Cosmic and Mythic started at the exact same time, I definitely would lean way more heavily towards Cosmic. I absolutely love it. And as far as my favorite stuff goes, I really like as far as you can get from humans, those are my favorite. So like the really alien stuff, I love the Sphexians.
Right.
Kragnar is awesome. I can't wait for like Cog and I can't Orvar, is that his name? The
Orvar,
short
yeah.
guy with the big green head.
Yeah.
Like those are my favorite things, are just the crazy looking characters like that. The skate backs.
Yeah,
Wait.
I can't wait to see the skate packs. Those are awesome. Do you have a way that you like keep up with or catalog or know like what figures you've got on hand?
No.
Okay.
I should. I'm not organized enough for that. And at this point, if I were to try to start doing it, it would take so much time that I just wouldn't be able to do it.
Absolutely. So what shows are you gonna do this year? What shows are you gonna be at this year? Do you know
That's a good
that?
question. I'm still figuring it out.
Okay.
I'm really going to try to go to MuskyCon. I really want to, just to see everyone. I definitely am not going to be able to vend at it this year like I did the last 2 years, but I still want to see everyone. And I think I'll lose my mind a little bit if I don't get to see some of those people. And then the following weekend it is Toylanta, and I'm going to try to be there too.
Oh wow.
We have a plan that I can't talk about too loud, but it's the kids' spring break is the week after Toylanta, so I think we're gonna try to drive down and go to Disney.
Yay!
And then of course I'll be at Legion's Con, and that's probably it.
So you're
Oh yeah. Oh sorry, IshCon. Yeah, I'm gonna vend at IshCon.
you
I
are
forgot
coming
about
back to Ishtar.
Yes,
That was-
yes.
okay.
No, that was one where Ish got at me early, and was like, "Hey, I really want to solidify it if you can, if you can't." Because at first I wasn't sure, but I did commit to that. So
Okay. Yeah.
I can't commit to having things for sale. We'll have to see if my year follows down the path that it's been. It's very likely that I will not have anything to sell, but I'll at least be there and I'll have my stuff set up. So
Okay.
we can hang out.
Yeah. Yay. And actually, I think Kevin and I are going to MesquiCon this year.
Oh, awesome.
I think.
Us
I'm gonna try to with it being so close to Toylanta. Yeah, I'm not sure what I can manage. There was a family thing we were gonna maybe do that weekend too that I don't know if we're doing it still. So that might free me up to go to MesquiCon.
Okay. So, but I will definitely get to see you at IshCon, and then I'll get to see you again at Legions Con. So,
Yeah.
yay! All right. Well, we just have some like random crazy questions to ask you. If you're up for some of those, kind of just
Sure.
don't know why in the world it is a question, but it is, and we're gonna ask.
I'll do my best. I don't,
Okay.
I don't know.
All right, Amber, you want to start?
So, what was your first pet?
My first pet was and now we're getting to all these questions. Sorry, my wife is right in front of me now. Yeah, so where I grew up, I was on a farm there too, and I had sheep there. My first pet I remember was a miniature schnauzer named AJ. Sorry, Alfie.
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
AJ was Alfie Jr. That's the miniature schnauzer we got after that.
Oh, that's cool.
I
Where
love
did
that.
where did the name Alfie come from?
I don't know. That dog, I don't know if he was born before me. Maybe. I would assume that it came from Alf. I don't know. Yeah.
That's a great place for it to come from because
Yeah.
Alpha's really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. What is your absolute best memory as a kid?
Best memory as a kid. I don't know. I what? Just say it. My daughter says drawing. Yeah, I do enjoy that. I think, with the drawing too, my grandpa was an artist. And I really enjoyed sharing my stuff with him and getting to talk to my grandpa about that stuff. But I don't know. I had a pretty good childhood, so I mean, I guess most of the memories are good memories. But I really liked, taking like family vacations in the summer, like in our crappy RV, and just stuff like that. Going to the fair every year, like we took the RV to the fair and camped out, and I had sheep there. We did 4-H, and so it was like a week long thing where I could just like walk out and get like junky fair food and stuff like that, like whenever I wanted to. That was fun.
So my husband showed horses at the fairs, and his family was from West Virginia, so they would travel all over the circuit, and he would show horses. Same thing, park the
That's
RV, go show horses
Mhm.
in the fair. And so he did that all summer too. That's awesome. All right, you're up, Amber.
What is your favorite food?
Favorite food. I love Thai food, and I love pizza. And that's probably it. Thai food and pizza.
Do you have a favorite fast food?
I eat a lot of that, and I don't like admitting that. Probably Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good one to like.
Yeah.
Are there any foods that you consider to be completely disgusting?
I hate condiments, like of all kind. So like mayonnaise, mustard, ketchup, can't do it.
Really?
Yeah,
Ranch?
that's disgusting. Oh, ranch is the worst. That's the worst one. Yeah, that's like my wife threatens me with ranch.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh, I love knowing that about you, Eric. That's awesome. Bring you a little bag full of condiments.
Skull sauce bag.
I mean, yeah, I can do like cheese sauce or like hot sauce. Like I'm good with that stuff, but yeah, I don't like the other stuff.
Okay. That's cool. Oh, okay.
Do you prefer cats or dogs?
I would have told you until recent years that I prefer dogs, but at this point in my life, I definitely prefer cats. And I won't go into the details. But there's been some audible evidence on this show, I think, of
Oh.
my current standing with dogs versus cats.
Oh, that's funny. Okay. What is your favorite holiday?
I love Christmas because it's Christmas. It's also my birthday, and my wife's birthday is 2 days before Christmas. And
Fun.
I like that a lot, but I love the Halloween like aesthetic. I love the feeling of Halloween. I'm not a horror person, but I just love like Halloween like decorations and stuff. So like I don't know, it's a toss up. I like them both.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm definitely less stressed at Halloween time typically. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Well, especially with 2 birthdays and
Yeah.
Christmas. Oh my goodness. So, question, do you get birthday presents on Christmas as well as Christmas presents?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't it's weird to me. Like I don't know how to differentiate, but I definitely do. My wife is very adamant. She's always been very adamant about like birthday and Christmas because hers is 2 days before Christmas. So anymore, like we'll open birthday gifts on her birthday and Christmas gifts on Christmas.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
Let's see. Would you choose mountains, beach, or lake?
Disney World. That's like the only vacation that I can do. I've
Isn't
got to
it
go.
on a lake?
I don't. Well, technically,
Isn't it
yeah, but it's
surrounded
like
by- I mean-
you don't go to Disney World for the lake.
We'll
Lake
count it.
I don't know how to relax. It's like a thing I can't do. I have to be doing something always, and my wife is the same way. So like, we don't watch TV. Like we don't know how to like sit and not do anything. So like we've tried like relaxing vacations, and we're always just like, we got to do something. We can't just sit here, you know? So like the beach is cool. Cause like, I mean like it's fun, but like it's fun for like 5 minutes for us. And then we would rather just be anywhere else. My daughter's like freaking out right now. But yeah, we go to Disney every chance we get. And when we are at Disney, we go hard.
Gotcha. What is your favorite pizza topping?
Mushrooms. But they have to be fresh mushrooms. You don't put canned mushrooms on pizza. That's bad news.
Yeah. No. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
Couple of things, I do want to do these while I'm thinking about it.
Sure.
Will Eric ever make Muppet customs?
It'd be fun. If I found the right parts, I definitely would.
And then Hedgehog says, "Come to Zolo, dude, please."
I would love to. That show sounds like so much fun, but it's basically like going to Legion's Con. Like it's a long way away from me. It's like almost 10 hours. ZoloCon is one that I really, really, really want to do. And whenever I see the photos from it, I'm always like, I hate that I'm not there. But logistically, that one just doesn't make a lot of sense. I would love to make that happen, though.
Okay. And then
toilet paper, over or under?
Over.
now that's a serious question.
It's very serious.
Because it annoys me to go in some place where the toilet paper is under and I have to fix it.
Yeah, that does drive me crazy.
Kevin asked Dayton style pizza. Do you like Dayton style pizza?
Dayton has the worst pizza in the world, and that's probably why I love pizza so much, because I really appreciate it when I find a good pizza, because we do not have good pizza.
Okay. All right. Favorite Disney attraction after Haunted Mansion?
Ooh, that's a good question. Probably the Tiki Room,
Mm.
that's like a pass for most people, but I absolutely love it. My wife really loves Pirates of the Caribbean too. That's a fun one.
It is. It is. All right. Pop or soda?
Like, what do I call it?
Yes.
We call it pop here, but I've spent years training myself to say soda, so it's soda.
Okay.
But everyone else in Dayton, Ohio, will call it pop.
Okay. And what's your favorite?
Soda?
Yes. Which one?
Coke.
Like Coke. Okay.
Yeah. And that's like Northern Coke, like the actual Coke.
Okay.
Well, in the South, that people call Coke. It's all Coke.
Everything
Yeah,
is Coke
I mean,
in the
yeah,
South.
actual Coke.
Everything is Coke in the South. It doesn't matter what you got. It's all Coke in the South. I get it though. I understand. I got you.
Let's see. Do you have? Well, yeah, I guess. I was gonna say, do you have a fun family tradition? But clearly, it's Disney World, right?
Yeah, it is. In recent years, that's been the only thing that, like, if we've got the money to go, we're gonna go. Other than that, family traditions. Can you hear my wife? She said trash dinner. So trash dinner is every Christmas we're so exhausted.
Oh yeah.
We're going here and we're going there and we're going to this other place and that other place. And so Christmas evening, not evening, I stuttered. Christmas evening. That's when we say, okay, we're done going places. And we basically just put everything that we can in an air fryer and eat it. So it's like cheese sticks, pizza rolls. We do a lot of like dumplings and spring rolls and that kind of stuff. That's trash dinner, and that's become a tradition with our family. My wife calls it trash dinner.
That.
That's fun.
What was your first car?
My first car was an '88 Chevy Corsica.
Yeah. What has been your favorite car?
My favorite car is my current car. It's the first car that I've ever gotten that's been pretty much new, and I like it. It's a Nissan Rogue. It's a cool car.
Oh yeah.
It's not what I was looking for, but it's what I landed on, and I like it a lot. I'm not a car person. I want something nice that gets me from point A to point B.
Amen.
Let's see. What was your high school mascot?
I don't like it. So we were the Indians, and I hate it. I hate that. But yes, that's what. As far as I know, they're still called the Indians.
Well, we were too, but they're no longer called that. So
yeah, yeah, Little Cedarville, Ohio. I'm pretty sure they're sticking with it.
Well, there you go. Left-handed or right-handed?
Right.
Okay.
What is one thing that is always in your refrigerator?
Leftovers that we will never eat.
Same.
Best answer ever. I think that is the best answer that we have gotten on this show with that question. I love it.
It's 100% true.
Best answer ever. Oh my gosh. Do you play video games?
Not so much anymore. I like to, but I don't have time for it anymore.
Okay.
My son loves it, obviously. He's 11.
Yes. And we'll love it for a long time to come.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's funny.
Let's see. How much are you hoping the dragon from Four Horsemen will be?
Like, what's it going to cost?
Yeah.
That's a scary question. I I hope that it is. I will say less than $600. And yeah, my wife's like, "Are they talking about the dragon?" Um, my hope is that accessory set, all in, whatever, is less than $600. But we'll see.
Okay. I'm hoping for that with you right there.
Yeah, my goal is to buy. So
I love that.
I can't wait because Eric's going to do something cool with the dragon. So I almost feel like this next question you just kind of answered.
yeah.
What is the one thing that you can tell us that you haven't told anyone else?
Probably that.
Yes, because your wife is now going, "You're what?
Yeah. I took the opportunity and she looked at her phone.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. I don't know. I don't have, like, I think I told you guys before, I don't really have a lot of secrets. Here's one thing that came up recently in a discussion that I don't talk about it a lot because I don't really think about it a lot, but my wife brought it up. It's like, I really hate spoons. Yeah, I'm not a spoon fan. Like, I like a fork. I use a fork for everything.
You have soup?
I'll use it with soup because it's like, what else do you use it for? But like when people like eat like pie with a spoon or something like that, I'm like, that's fork. That's fork food.
Oh yeah.
Or
that's
like, I don't know. Like every once in a while, I'll see someone using a spoon on food. I'm like, why did you choose the spoon?
I
to eat
I
that
understand
thing?
that. Like people would do it with like their mac and cheese or rice.
Yeah,
Like,
that's fork
why?
food. It's all fork food.
All fork food. I understand.
That's not like, I don't know. It's not like a secret that I've kept from it. It's just like a weirdism, I guess. But that's kind of funny. I don't know.
That's funny. Okay. Jonathan asked, how about this favorite new Disney ride?
My favorite new Disney ride,
Mm-hmm.
Guardians of the Galaxy, in Disney World. I've never been to Disneyland. There's two different Guardians rides. But yeah, the one that's at Epcot.
Gotcha.
It's a roller coaster, but it's just the best roller coaster on the face of the earth. And the theming is so like new Disney theming is awful. So like I would love for there to be like some new like park IP, like non like movie IP, but it's like anymore they just make rides for the movies.
For the movies, yeah.
Like you don't get Figment anymore or like Maelstrom Trolls. Like that stuff doesn't exist anymore. It's all just stuff from the movies. So yeah, I mean, Guardians is definitely the best
Gotcha.
newer ride. Yeah.
All right. Well, Eric, thank you so much. This has been amazing. I feel like we know you like so much better.
The show's a lot of fun. It's one of my favorites to watch.
Well, thank you.
Thank
Aw,
you.
Appreciate you
that
having
makes
me
me
on.
feel so good. Oh,
You guys ask like the real hard hitting questions,
well, I want to get to know people. Like,
Sure.
I can ask you about your customs all the time. I mean, we can, sit here and talk customizing and paints and stuff and Four Horsemen, but that doesn't really get to know you. And I want to kind of get to know you. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, this is fantastic. We truly appreciate you coming on. I can't tell you how much fun I've had. It has been
So fun.
it's
Yeah, it has been a lot. It's been a lot of fun. I like it.
and hello and to the wife and kitties. We are looking forward to seeing you guys Will they be with you
Here's
at
Leslie.
IchCon? Well, hello there. How are you?
Here, let me unplug my headphones for a second. All right. Can we hear you now?
Hey.
Can you hear us?
There. Yes. Yeah. There you are.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm eating an orange.
I see that. Is it good? I don't have an
All right.
orange to eat, or I would eat one with you.
Yeah.
What?
She said she's
Oh.
on screen and she'd eat one with you. I think you asked if they'd be with us at IchCon this year.
Yeah. Or is
Yeah, they're still in school.
Oh.
It's earlier in the year this year,
Oh, that's
they'll
right.
still be in school. So, yeah, I'll be by myself. I think this year.
Gotcha. Well, we hope we see them at Legion's Con at least.
Yeah, they'll be there.
All right.
That's tradition.
Yay. Well, that's exciting. Well, again, Eric, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Can I be the first ever?
Props. I'm the first ever non-import.
Wow, you are definitely important. Oh my goodness. Gina said that she loved the Stitch swig. She thought that was amazing.
That was all Isley. That was her idea.
Isley, that was amazing. Loved it. It was cool. Very cool. All right, Eric, we will see you at one of the shows, I'm sure, very soon. Thank you again. We truly
Thanks for having me on.
appreciate it.
I'm
All
glad
right.
we finally got it to work.
I know. We are going to put you down, say goodnight, and then we will, if you need to go, you can go. Otherwise, we will see you shortly, okay?
Right on.
Oh, what a fun show, Amber.
That was a ball.
That was so interesting. I love learning about all the people in the community. It is so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, we did not miss any other super chats. Just wanted to be sure we didn't miss any of those. Sometimes I get so focused in asking questions, I forget to have them. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, again, thank you to those who gave us super chats last week. We truly appreciate it. We really, really appreciate your supporting the show that way. All right. Next week, we have Liz and Jeff Evans going to be on the show. We're so excited to have them on and can't wait to get to know them a little bit better. And shout out for the Purple Gang. They're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by Saturday. And they have a bunch of giveaways to do. His tank if they reach 1,000. That's
Wow.
cool. Yeah.
Those guys are wild.
They are crazy. All right. So go subscribe if you haven't. We need to do that. And I think Dorklayer started at 9, so go watch him afterwards. Definitely don't want to miss that. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Amber, it has been amazing as always. And we will see you all next week. Good night.